Hi everybody and welcome to another video. I'm going to be talking to you today about how to pose for pictures if you're over 60. Stay tuned. So if you're over 60 and you're going to be in some photos that you know coming up, it's a really good idea to kind of know how to pose. I know that a lot of us are being photographed all the time now because of the cell phone situation. And so, we didn't grow up that way. Most of us, if you're over 60, we didn't have cell phones with us all the time. We were just living our lives, so we weren't photographed every day. But now you're photographed everywhere you go all the time. So it's a really good idea to just kind of know some basics about posing. And as a former model and actress, I've had a lot of experience posing for photos. So I'm going to teach you some basic tips and tricks, show you some things to avoid, and help you look better in photos going forward. Okay, so tip number one is to be thinking about the camera and what it's actually doing, almost scientifically. So what we know is that we are three-dimensional beings, So the camera is taking you and making you two dimensions, flat. So that when you see a photo of yourself, it's going to be distorted. It does not look exactly like you look. So just know that going in, okay? So one of the things that's really important to do is angle yourself to the camera. Because if you stand like a big block straight onto the camera and you don't make any holes, like with your arms, like this, and you just stand like this, there's no definition in your body whatsoever. And so you look kind of blocky, maybe heavy even. So we don't want that. So you want to think about the fact that here's this camera, it's going to make you flat. You want to see interesting shapes and holes as opposed to a square rectangular block. So for example, what I like to do when I get something new is I just pose like the model that was advertising the thing that I bought. Okay, so here's some examples of that. So one of the things I recommend that you do is that if you know you're going to be photographed, you're going somewhere special, you know for sure you're going to be photographed, practice posing in the outfit you're going to be wearing. And I mean, you're going to feel like a complete idiot posing to yourself, okay? But here's an example. We went to a movie premiere that I attended with my husband, and I wore this off-the-shoulder dress, which I designed and I love. But if you're wearing something off the shoulder, you cannot put your arm around someone and pose, because if it's off the shoulder with sleeves, that is, because it will ruin your whole neckline. So it looks bad. So what do, right? So I practiced posing in the mirror before we left, and I realized that if I had my little bag, my evening bag, I could hold it in front of me like you see me doing, right? And put my arms out to the side a little bit and create some holes and not look too blocky and not ruin the neckline of the dress. So if you're wearing an off-the-shoulder dress, I highly recommend you practice posing and try out, no matter what you're wearing, practice posing before you go and see what you think, at least in the mirror, or you can do it with your phone, with your iPhone. If you put your phone on video and film yourself posing, you can use those pictures if you ever want them. You just freeze frame it and photograph it, But what you can do is just be on video mode like I am now and wear the thing you're going to wear and practice, if you turn slightly sideways, if I put my hand here, does that work? What look is good? I am a big believer in holding onto something when I pose. So here's some examples of that. So this is a dress that I got from Venus. It's a Venus catalog. I don't know if you know that brand, but I like them. They're kind of inexpensive, and I've liked the things that I've bought from them. So this black dress, it's the evening off the well, it's one shoulder evening gown from Venus, and I decided to pose like the model. And so here you see this pose, and now the reason I like posing like models is because you're not used to standing the way that they stand to look good in pictures. Okay, so now in this particular shot, I'm standing against a door and I'm literally holding on because I'm wearing a high heel and I'm on one foot. And if you ever tried to balance on a high heel on one foot, it's not so easy. So I was holding on to the wall. I don't think the model looks like she's holding on like she's gonna fall, but I was. So anyway, you can always hold on to something or someone near you to create shape, to create interest. You can hold your knee like I'm doing here, your waist. You can play with your clothes. That's always kind of a fun one, you know. Just put your hands together kind of at your waist and pretend that you're holding something that you're not. But you know, hey, I'm holding something. I'm holding something. Yeah, so that's a good thing to do. The other thing that I recommend you do is practice posing just in general. You know, just when you have nothing else to do and you feel like you look pretty good. You don't want to do it if you don't feel like you look good. So feel like you look pretty good, and then practice posing. You know, I will just sometimes try things, you know, and then look at it later and go, wow, you know what? When you look like this, it looks a certain way, you know, but when you just do that, it looks so much better, that kind of thing. So that you learn what it feels like from inside of you to pose and get a feeling of how that looks to the camera. It's kind of it's a communication. Okay. Last posing tip I have for you, and it's probably the most important one, so if you've stuck with me this long, I'm really glad, and that is to realize that when you are posing for any kind of a photo, you're talking to that camera. You are communicating with that camera, and so what is coming through your eyes, your whole attitude, your vibe, your aura, everything about you is coming across in that photo through your eyes. So when you're posing and you're thinking about how you look, stop thinking so much about how you look and think about what you want to communicate to that camera. You know, if you're at a movie premiere and you're an actress, you want to communicate, I'm gorgeous, I'm a movie star. You know, if you're out having fun with friends, you might just be, I love my friends, I'm having a good time. You know, it's like, what is it you're trying to say to that camera? Think about that when you shoot, and you're going to be fine and you look great. That's it then. Have a great time with your photos and your friends and your events, and hopefully you'll come away with some good photos after the fact, and you can thank me. Oh, and if this resonated with you, please smash the like button and subscribe and hit the bell so that when I post new videos, you can see them when they first come out. Take care.